So the topic of the day on Restore Your Center is self versus self-image. So we're back, Kat and
Dewey.
Well, that's a little sexy voice, honey. Anyway, so anyway, self and self-image. So I just figured out the difference around my 30-ish times. How about you, self and self-image?
Yeah, I know the difference. I absolutely know and understand the difference. Self-image is the exterior, their opinions, views, assimilations about you. Image is the exterior of you projecting whatever needs to be shown to the exterior world.
But a lot of people get this confused, right? So self and self-image, a lot of people focus on their self-image, how people view them, all the exterior, and then they define themselves based on how much money they make, how perfect they are, how everything, but then they forget about who they are, who their own self is, what their truth is. And like for a long time, I equated myself as a good person or a good enough person based on how much money I made. That was completely wrong, or how kind I was, how many friends I had, how nice I was. That had nothing to do with me as a person. I mean, I figured out that now, but it took a while.
Man is the biggest mystery on earth. To discover the essence of man is what the true human experience is about. So you have to dig deep to know thyself. And once you know thyself, you can appear radiant to everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest advice for everybody is, just know your truth, know your true self, not caring about how others perceive you.
In other words, now if I can speak frank, from the streets, keep it real, my friends, keep it real. Don't do something that strikes a chord in you as odd, regardless if you think they want to hear it or they want to see it. You must feel good about the image you project. You must be truthful about the image you project. And that's the key to your true happiness.
Oh, I thought of one more thing. One thing that I think we're pretty good about is that not blaming others. We take responsibility for our actions. We don't say, oh, today sucked because so-and-so did this, or, I had a bad situation at work because somebody else forgot to give me this piece of paper. Well, you know what? You should have been on them to get that piece of paper and make sure it was done, and, or feelings. Oh, I had a bad day because so-and-so made me feel like this or whatever. But no, it has nothing to do with them. It's all about you, right? And
Yes.
your control of your environment.
Yes, and at the end of the day, we have the ability, the know-how, and the expectation of finding and creating your own happiness. No one should be able to take your smile away. No one should be able to take your radiant glimmer away unless you allow them that power. So if you had a bad day, it's because you had a bad day. It's not because of what someone else brought to your day. And that's a very difficult thing to do, but I do it all the time. And at the end of the day, self-preservation must kick in at some point, and you must understand that, hey, I'm gonna smile no matter how you feel about it.
Yes. And then I was going to say, with the whole know your truth, when you're not taking responsibility for your actions, what happens is if you keep blaming other people, that takes away from you figuring out who you are, because you're constantly blaming everything on other people. So you're not looking inward. You're not looking at yourself. You're not looking within to figure out what's going on with you that's causing these issues around you. And then regarding what he was saying about when he was taking responsibility, easier said than done, right? But for a long time I was like, well, how the heck am I supposed to do that? You know, someone made me mad, so I'm gonna feel mad. But really what it comes down to is he just says fuck it, you know. But then what that actually really means is
Disattach yourself from whatever circumstance of that moment and get back to your moment. You have the responsibility of being responsible for what comes in your life. You take responsibility for the things you do. And if you don't take responsibility for those things, people are going to view you responsible for them anyway. So at the end of the day, don't make up excuses. Have expectations of yourself and exercise those expectations externally to the world, and you will be people's joy, not their dull moments of their day. And that's what it's all about. You'll find your inner happiness, and you'll be able to radiate that energy to make someone else a brighter day.
And just knowing that you're most important. So for me, he says fuck it. What I have to do is I have to, you know, settle down and just remember, like, okay, you know what, that situation, I'm not going to let it stress me out, because that stress is going to cause cancer or disease within my body. I'm more important than the situation. So then I'm able to settle down and not let the situation or whatever's upset me be bigger than me, because at the end of the day, I want to live a long time. I don't want to have that disease, right? Because I'm important, and I want to be around to share whatever crazy thoughts, crazy ideas I have. And so yeah, that's what I physically do to myself.
Yes, and remember, regardless of life expectancy, regardless of duration of time in which we are all here, the fly lives a couple days. A couple days is a lifetime for a fly. So our moments, we could be here for the next 30 years. We could be gone within the next week. We don't know when that moment will come. Therefore, it's your own responsibility to find your happinesses, find your truths, and things that bother you or ruin your day. Like I do, have that reboot switch, have that reset button, that fuck it button, and get back to your existence and your happiness. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own happiness.
Very true. On that note, thank you. Restore your center, knowing the difference between self and self-image.
Yes,
Bye.
yes. Know thyself, that's your wealth.